I decided to do this little video just to show some of the things that the military has done, certain tests and everything of that nature.
A typical drill sergeant ordered his men to fall in. The squad, composed of volunteers for the test, responded like well-trained soldiers, immediately and without question. On the drill field, the men obeyed his commands accurately and with precision. A second drill sergeant assumed command. He put the squad through its paces capably. This man also proved to be an able drill sergeant, giving precise commands.
That'd be a horrible acid trip.
2 hours later, the squad, all except the drill sergeant, now drugged with LSD, again was ordered to fall in. The response was not the same. The squad leader thought it was not necessary for him to dress right. There was much laughter as the group attempted to give expression to inner emotions. This elation was group-supported, and an individual who was separated from the group would show severe disturbance. Notice the volunteer who salutes several times. 5 minutes later, his severe depression caused the medical officers to end his participation in the test. Response and actions of the drill sergeants who did not receive LSD were as before. But in marching, the drugged squad, although starting fairly well, gave a sluggish and ragged performance. After a few minutes, the men found it difficult to obey orders. And soon, the results were chaotic. The second drill sergeant, who had performed effectively earlier in the day, was now given command of the squad. He too had received LSD, and he no longer was an effective leader. When an officer ordered the leader to drill the squad, he responded with, "You want them drilled? You drill them." Ordered to leave the field, he refused to go.
That officer is having a good
In
time.
answer to a direct question, he said he was capable of drilling the men and was instructed to do so. Minutes later, it was evident that he was unable to carry out his orders, and he was escorted from the field. We have seen some of the effects of LSD. What effect would it have on a vital operation? Further research is required to give us that answer.
Oh wait, I think that was it down there. No. Oops. Was the oops.
part of an interview with the subject just before LSD is to be administered.
My husband is an employee here at the VA, and he told me that they were looking for normal people, and I volunteered.
I see. Do you feel you're normal?
I hope I'm normal. I think so.
Well, a little while back you took quite a series of psychological tests, and I can assure you that you're a very stable and well-balanced person as a result of the tests. And how do you feel about coming here and drinking this strange material?
I'm a little nervous, perhaps.
Well, I think that's normal. Well, I think it's time for you to have your lysergic acid. Drink this down, and we'll be back after a while and see how you're doing.
This is a glass of water, colorless, tasteless. It contains 100 gamma of LSD 25.
So, colorless, tasteless, working on a truth serum.
1/10 of a milligram, the equivalent of 1/600th of a grain. An ounce of this material will make 150,000 such doses. Let us observe the effect some 3 hours later.
Well, tell me.
Well, I just couldn't. I couldn't possibly tell you. It's here. Can't you feel it? This whole room. This everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules. I'm part of it. Can't you see it?
I'm trying.
Oh, it's just like you're released, or you're free, or I don't know how I can tell you.
How do you feel inside?
Inside? I don't have any inside.
Is it all one?
It would be all one if you weren't here, and if nobody else. Yes, everything is one. You have nothing to do with it. I am one with what I am. I can see everything in color. Everything. You have to see the air. You can't believe it. And the dimensions and all the prisms and the rays and everything coming down through you and moving.
What does this all mean to you?
I've never seen such infinite beauty in my life. It's like a curtain or a spider web. Can you see it? It's right here in front of me, right now. Watch. No. Oh, good heavens. You know what went through me? It passed right through me.
Could you feel it?
Me? There isn't any me.
Is all this pleasant or unpleasant? Or aren't these the right words?
What seems pleasant or unpleasant? There isn't anything pleasant. Can't you feel it? Everything is so beautiful and lovely and alive. You shouldn't say anything about anything not being. This is reality. This is. If you look right over there, Are you looking? Can you?
Yes, what should I see?
I wish I could talk in Technicolor, or let you see. Can you? Did you say you can see it?
No, I can't quite see it. Tell me about it.
I can't tell you about it. If you can't see it, then you'll just never know it. I feel sorry for you.
Alright, so we can see, hold on a second, fucking rude people. Anyways, so we can see all this craziness, right? That there's substantial evidence on it. Yeah, actually, never mind, it's on. Recovery as part of the MK Ultra program examination. And, oh, wait. Oh, actually, I want to keep that Ultra. Zinsky? I'm saying it, I'm spelling his name wrong. So at the start of Cold War, they personally profiled and tested crack Soviet spies. And that's where he graduated. Well, let me actually just go to Berkeley. Let's see, the Anarchist Library. So I'm trying to retracing, let's see. It's Cybernetics at School of Information Theory. So let's see, so either way, let me get rid of Berkeley, or take Zinsky. And hired a Berkeley engineering student to install bugging equipment into running hallucinations and experiments with LSD. So he's been watching this luxury blah. So MK Ultra's mind control experiments generally centered around behavior modification via electroshock therapy, hypnosis, polygraphs, radiation, and a variety of drugs, toxins, and chemicals. And you know, there's a lot of history on those. So, government radiating radioactive food, and Quaker Oats is going to come up. It is irradiation. You know, I wasn't too certain about it. So, failing to protect population potential. And so let me just go to what I know. Radioactive Quakers Oats. Ah, blast it. Settlement reached in suit over radioactive oatmeal. I think that's, it's in the New York Times, I think. Oh, no. And especially if I'm like calling one thing out. And this is back in the 50s. So, you know, more than 100 boys, you know, at school. You know, so it's not new that the government has experimented on us. Government poison. Oops. Government prisons. We live in a government prison. Poisoning. Ow. Little story of government. And this is back during Prohibition. In 1926, the federal government poisoned alcohol to curb consumption during... this is on Snopes, I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't pay attention to the website. I just seen Snopes for the second time. I recognize its format. What's true when manufacturing the sale of alcohol. Electoral agency curb measures making industrial alcohol undrinkable, including the addition of lethal chemicals. The government did not poison the supplies of alcohol meant for human consumption, nor did it intentionally aim to kill those who drank it. What? Hold on a second. What the hell? Alright, so the government, when manufacture and sale, this is written by a damn lawyer. This is doublespeak. When the manufacture and sale of alcohol was legal between 1920 and 1933, regulatory agencies encouraged measures making industrial alcohol undrinkable, including the addition of lethal chemicals. Okay, so industrial. The government did not poison supplies of alcohol meant for human consumption, nor did it aim those who drank the tainted products. So, basically, the government gave permission to the suppliers to freaking sell tainted products. Is that taking things out of context? You know what? They put things in a very poor context. Sure. Tone.com. History of poison alcohol includes an unlikely culprit, the U.S. government. And so this is in Time. Is this Times? Yeah, well, it's Time magazine. So, yeah. So, are we going to... So, what are the deaths occurred in 2012 in Prague or 1922 in New York? Stories about poison alcohol tend to be about moonshine contains methanol. Methanol, wood alcohol, appears in many industrial products like formaldehyde and fuel that are cheaper and stronger than ethanol, the alcohol you drink. It's also really toxic, whether it's sold to drinkers on purpose to bring down the cost of producing booze or accidentally by a well-meaning but ignorant moonshiner. Drinking methanol can lead to blindness, respiratory paralysis, or death. That's true around the world and across the decades. But there is one way in which Prohibition-era alcohol deaths differed from those that make news today. In the 1920s, the U.S. government was, in a way, responsible for the poison. Here's what happened. As Slate's recounting of the situation explains it. The whole thing started when Prohibition began in 1920. Despite the new law, unsurprisingly, people kept drinking. As speakeasies and underground liquor sales boomed, the people who were already drinking began, in many cases, drinking even more. A trend made possible because even though imports had been curtailed by the law enforcement, those who wanted to sell alcohol could just redistill the commercial use of alcohol that it was still readily available in the U.S. For years, that the industrial alcohol has been denatured by adding toxic or unappetizing chemicals to it. The idea was originally so that people can escape beverage taxes by drinking commercial use of alcohol instead, but it was still possible to repurify the liquid so it could be consumed. So, as Time reported in the January 10th, 1927 issue, a solution emerged from the anti-drinking forces and the government. That year, a new formula for denaturing industrial-grade alcohol was introduced, doubling how poisonous the product became. The new formula included 4 parts methanol, what I call 2.25 parts pyridine bases, 0.5 parts benzene, to 100 parts ethyl alcohol. And as Time noted, the ordinary drinks of this may cause blindness. In case you didn't guess, blind drink isn't just a figure of speech. Not everyone thought it was a good idea to make alcohol deadly. When making it illegal hadn't stopped drinkers. And New Jersey Senator Edward I. Edwards called it legalized murder. However, the anti-saloon league persisted, arguing that illegal alcohol had killed many more in its day than denatured alcohol would kill during the transition to teetotaling world. I never heard of that word. Excuse me. The government is under no obligation to furnish the people with alcohol that is drinkable when the Constitution prohibits it, said advocate Wayne B. Wheeler. The person who drinks this industrial alcohol is a deliberate suicide. To root out a bad habit costs many lives and long years of effort. The government made no attempt to pretend that increasing the denaturing formula wouldn't lead to deaths. The government made no attempt to pretend that increasing denaturing formula wouldn't lead to deaths. Later that year, Seymour M. Lohman, Assistant Secretary of the Treasury in charge of Prohibition, even told citizens that the fringes of society that drink were dying off fast from poison hooch, and that if the result was a sober America, a good job will have been done. And when large-scale fatalities occurred as a result of this policy, the agents of Prohibition shrugged it off. As Time reported, after one 1928 incident in which 33 people in Manhattan died in 3 days, mostly from drinking wood alcohol, everyone expected the intervention and assistance of federal forces, lately so loudly active in Manhattan, but no one expected what actually happened. The Federals announced that the government could do absolutely nothing. The statement of the federal grand jury read as follows: "Inasmuch as wood alcohol is not a beverage, but a recognized poison, analogous to prussic acid or iodine, and its use and sale are not regulated by any of the federal laws. We respectfully report that those particular instances, the subject matter is for the consideration of the state authorities rather than for the federal authorities. The state laws regulate the sale of poisons and provide punishment for improper use of the sale." Prohibition ended in 1933, and there was no longer any need for Americans to risk their lives drinking what might turn out to be deadly methanol. But, as this week's news shows, the specter of poison hooch remains. So, I guess, that's it in a nutshell. Pretty much the government allowed for the practices. And it pretty much is like the Charles Manson, defense. And Charles Manson spent, forever in freaking jail, even though he didn't actually commit, kill anyone. I don't believe he did, and because he would admit to it. But the thing is, other people did, and he got blamed for, he was sort of the gun in a, or in the bullet, in someone in a lunatic's hands, and that's what he did, and that's what the government pretty much does. And that's what we do, the United States does in all these other countries is, we disrupt a nation, and then we put weapons in their hands. So, yeah. Maybe I'll do a little bit more, or I'll do better episodes of these things. But take care of yourself, stay strong, love you all, and thanks for being there.